Welcome to the Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Let's go to high school basketball spotlight. Top scorers, boys. Jameson Greco, Seneca Valley, 25. Guys, the Raiders on a hot streak. They've won 4 in a row. They're 6-6 now. Back-to-back wins over North Allegheny and Butler. What a crazy section that is this year.
Anybody can win.
Anybody can win. Vinnie Clark of Freeport, 23. Isaiah Boyce of Newcastle, 23. Ellen Grimes of Summit Academy, 22. Zach Schlegel of Mars, 22. Luke Shanahan of Pine Richland, 21. Max Hurry of North Catholic, 21. Jerome Mullins of Rochester, 20. Joey Dudkowski of Pine Richland, 20. Mike Wells of Newcastle, 20. Andrew Matalone of North Catholic, 20. Ryan Lang of Knock, 20. Luke Kramer of Karn City, 20, and Caden Ramsey, Union, Reimersburg, 20 for the girls. Nina Shaw of Knock, the Knock girls rolling along a tremendous year. She had 26. Elena Rocco of North Catholic, 22. In swimming, Natalie Double, Slippery Rock High School. She won or took part in 4 winning events. She won the 500 freestyle, the 100 backstroke, and was a member of 2 winning relay teams. And in bowling, the Butler boys defeated the defending state champs North Allegheny 4-3. Eric DeVore a 621 and Rocco Rice a 595. Our basketball power rankings 6A. North Hills remains undefeated at the top 11-0. They have Seneca Valley coming up tonight. There's word that next year they could drop to 5A in basketball too. Boy, that would be a blow to this section.
Another 6A problem.
you hope they stay because they have all these players that'll be back next year. Fox Chapel, number 2. Central Catholic, 3. Bethel Park, 4. And Pine Richland there at 5. You're going to see Pine Richland this week. They are at Butler. You'll see that tape delay. Should be a terrific battle between these two for playoff position. You got to start thinking about that at this point.
Well, absolutely. But when 4 out of 5 are in, it's not as urgent.
Yeah, they started off 1-3. They lost those 3 in a row by 8 points. Now they're on a hot streak. 5A, it's Laurel Highlands, Newcastle, Mars, Penn Hills, and Highlands. In 4A, Belle Vernon, Quaker Valley, Lincoln Park, North Catholic, and Deer Lakes. In 3A, Elwood City at the top, followed by Seton LaSalle, Washington, South Allegheny, Shadyside Academy. In 2A, Olsh, Carleton, Karn City, Greensburg Central Catholic, Stowe Rocks. And in 1A, Union of Newcastle, followed by Bishop Canevin, Imani Christian, Aquinas Academy, and Leechburg. For the girls, 6A, still undefeated North Allegheny, followed by undefeated Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair, Norwin, and Baldwin. In 5A, Chartiers Valley, Moon, Trinity, Mars, and Hampton. In 4A, Blackhawk, Knock, Belle Vernon, Southmoreland, and Elizabeth. Forward Blackhawk put a spanking on North Catholic last week, held them to 37 points.
Yeah, they are really, really good. I know the girls work out at Drover Skill. They're really good.
And in 3A, North Catholic remains at the top, followed by Avonworth, South Park, Freedom, and Waynesburg. In 2A, Neshannock, Sarah Catholic, Burgettstown, Apollo Ridge, Seton LaSalle. And in 1A, the Union of Newcastle, followed by Rochester, West Green, Aquinas Academy, and Clairton.
They play tonight.
Who's that?
Union and Rochester.
Oh, boy.
Girls 1 and 2.
Oh, it'll be in the defending Rochester, defending champs.
Yeah.
Our stories of the week, NFL wild card weekend, guys. There were 6 games. 4 of them were blowouts. We're going to start with one of the blowouts. The Chiefs 42, the Steelers 21, and that's not as close as the score might even indicate. The Steelers took a 7-0 lead on a T.J. Watt fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then the Chiefs responded with 35 unanswered points. Mahomes was just... He's a pleasure to watch. He's just enjoyable to watch. He threw 5 touchdown passes. You know, his last 4 games against the Steelers, he torched them for 17 touchdown passes. Chiefs rolled up 478 total yards to the Steelers, 257. The Steelers only had 54 yards at the half, 24 passing. Roethlisberger 215 yards passing and a couple TDs in second half, but the story was all over after the end of the first half. So, guys, where do the Steelers go from here? That's their fourth straight playoff loss. The last three they've lost, they've given up 45, 47, and 42 points, 134 points. And now Tomlin started off 5-2 playoffs. Now he's lost 7 of his last 10. He's 8-9. So when do we start questioning and looking at what's going on, some of the decisions maybe that Tomlin's made, some of the hires, and some of the strategy? There's something wrong here. They haven't won a playoff game in 5 years.
Well, I just say they're in the playoffs. That's what I say. There's 20 playoff teams that never make it, and they were not a playoff team this year. So I give Tomlin Coach of the Year. I think it's Coach of the Year in the NFL. This team has so many warts. When he says warts, I'm saying double warts. They're not a playoff team. I said it all along. I don't know how Cleveland should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Without question.
You understand?
San Diego, the Chargers.
I mean, all these teams.
Chargers, man. Right.
They got way better teams than Pittsburgh.
But the point is something here.
No, it's
when
not.
you lose 7 out of your last 10 playoff games,
who's picking them?
That's right.
He's picking them.
No, Colbert is.
They both are. And his hands, the defense is his. That's why he got rid of Dick LeBeau.
They're weak on defense.
Look, they haven't fixed this for 3 or 4 years. They're last in rushing again, the worst rushing attempts. They're last in defense against the run, giving up 5 yards per rushing attempt, and their secondary is just terrible. So, yeah, somewhere at some point, I'm not saying he's not a good coach.
No, he's a great coach.
But at some point, well, I don't call him great.
Oh,
You
great.
do. I think he's a very good coach.
Super Bowls is a Super Bowl.
He's won
one Super Bowl.
Won
and playoffs. Never had a losing record. Tell me what your thing is.
He's not a great coach in my mind. My opinion, he's a very good coach. I don't put it in a great category. He's a solid coach. But I'm just saying, at some point, things have to be fixed, turned around, because you haven't won a playoff game in 5 years. You've lost 4 in a row, and your defense has gotten shredded in these playoff games.
I'll say that again to you. We're on different leg lights. They're in the playoffs every year. There's teams that never get close to the playoffs.
No, they're not in it every year, Albert.
Well,
They've been a couple years.
You said 5 is 5. You just told me 5 times in a row. That's what you just told me.
Well, they've lost 4.
I know what they've lost,
playoff
but
games
just
in a row.
getting there with these teams.
And this year they added, they got the last spot, but they did get in.
They did get in.
The thing about it is, the old days, that wouldn't have been acceptable. But this isn't.
Well, I'm acceptable with this for sure. If you watch the Kansas City game, there was not a thought who the better team was.
No, there's no question.
No question. I'm talking about, it looked like me and George racing a zone bolt. I mean, it's not. There's not a comparison. They're really.
I understand, but at the same time, Chuck Noll, after winning 4 Super Bowls, after Bradshaw was done, the Steelers went another 20 years before it until Roethlisberger. But Noll came under great criticism, forced to fire coaches, wanted to make changes. One of the reasons why he stepped down. But I'm just saying, you can't keep going like this without the buck stopping at the head guy.
But I'm asking you, like what? They just made the playoffs again. I'm asking you again.
That's not good enough to make the playoffs.
Oh, it's not good enough to make the playoffs.
No, you need to win. You've lost.
Ask Minnesota. Ask Cleveland. Go right. I can get down 40 get teams.
I know, but that doesn't
They
mean.
used to compare themselves to the 49ers
And they're not.
Cowboys.
And they're not.
They're not.
They're not. I can watch every week and no, they're not. I mean, I can watch the teams
But
play.
But you're satisfied with the way they play their playoffs, losing 7 out of the last 10 playoff
Yes,
games?
because that's who they are. Right now, I look at talent on the field.
That's a long time. Well,
the talent on the field is so. They got an offensive line that looks like.
He has a. I give him credit. He picked the punter. He punted 7 times.
The offensive line is
first half.
is a shred.
Well, I'd say they were $10 million under. Why didn't they address it? Like they gave Roethlisberger $257 million and never addressed.
And gave Watt a time.
But I don't think who's out there to play quarterback. Tell me if you got one right now. Tell me.
And Mason Rudolph's going to be their quarterback. Because they're not going to.
And we're going to laugh at that.
They're not going to. You're going to bring in Marcus Mariota?
No, I don't.
You're going to give him $15 million?
No, that's the truth.
You want Trubisky?
I agree.
I
want Trubisky for sure, but I do.
It's a
He
mess.
was with the Bears. Anybody plays behind the Bears offensive line, you can see you have no chance.
For Andy Reid, that's his 18th playoff win, fourth all time, just one behind Shula.
They just ran him out of Philadelphia. They ran him out of Philadelphia. So that's what I'm saying.
After he had a losing season, right? They ran him out. He went to the Chiefs.
So it wasn't
and
him.
Look what he's
That's
done.
the point I'm making. It wasn't him.
Well, it is partly him. He was the head coach, 4-12. That record goes to him. A lot of this goes towards Tomlin. I'm not
so
saying
Belichick last year was
Tomlin's
no. You didn't. That's your boy. He was.
No, he's not my boy.
He is your boy. He's talking
No, he's not my boy.
You're responsible. Last
No, he's a great coach. He's Super Bowl.
But why
VI.
didn't he win last year? I'm asking.
Well, he didn't win. No, right?
I know why he
because
didn't win
Brady.
because he didn't have any players.
All right, so
I know he's a great
But
coach.
they went out and got him.
I know
they
he's
went
a
out
great
and
coach.
got him. But
What was
they
their score in
tried.
their game
But the
this first playoff
Steelers
game?
aren't doing it. Listen, Tomlin runs the defense. The defense has stunk for 3 years now. That's on him. He didn't like what LeBeau was doing. He made the changes. That's on him. He picked Canada to be the offensive coordinator. That's on him.
We are spoiled brats. All I know,
Well,
there are a
guess.
million teams around this country that would love to have a
No,
stadium.
you don't. I agree with you. They stink.
Yeah.
They're not even. They aren't any good. That's just
But
the way it is.
you know, to go 9-7-1 with that was a good job.
That was a good
Not
job.
good, great job.
But playoffs, they have literally stunk. And you're measured by what you do in the playoffs. Coaches get fired by not winning in the playoffs. Look in Dallas. There's talk about
Guy in
how this
Arizona's
run
going.
in Arizona. Hey, anyhow, the Steelers now number 20. And they pick in the 2022
everything.
draft.
That's one thing. Whoever they take will be right because they did everything.
2022 schedule at home, the usual: Cincy, Cleveland, Baltimore, and then New England, the Jets, Saints, Raiders, and Bucks. On the road, there are 3 division games, and then at Atlanta, Dolphins, Colts, Eagles, Panthers, and Bills.
You just got to play who you line up
can't
against
go
you
now.
because you can't tell who's good and who's not
No,
good. Next year,
no.
You never know.
Josh Allen might get hurt the first game, and Buffalo's not the same team.
For somebody in
Hey, one of the best games to watch. We said this before. I was anxious to watch Cincy and the Raiders. It was a terrific game. First playoff win in 31 years for the Bengals. A game-ending goal line interception by the Bengal linebacker moves them on. They look terrific with all the weapons that they have, and their defense really played a pretty good game.
Yeah, the thing that stood out in that comment you just made, don't you? Stood out to me. First playoff win in 31 years.
Right.
And you're talking about Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm talking about Pittsburgh.
But I'm saying to
just
you,
because
that's because we live here. If we didn't live here, if we lived in L.A., they'd be saying, well, Pittsburgh made it again.
I'm not saying that Tomlin's not a
First
good coach.
time
He's a
in
very good
31
coach.
years.
But when you look at what they're doing, you don't look at what say, oh well, look, since he hasn't won, so that's okay. We've lost 7 out of the last 10 playoff games.
We're spoiled. Bad.
Well, it's beyond spoiled, but you have a right to
But Cincinnati right now is
okay.
most
All I'm
excited.
saying is this: Tomlin's not above criticism.
No, I criticize
that's
him all
all
the
I'm saying.
time.
Okay.
Oh no, I get.
All right.
Wait a minute. He makes more mistakes on game day than
All right.
anybody in the league.
His
All right,
time, man.
and everyone they have some decisions to make crucial, or this thing's going to get worse. Anyhow,
I think it is going to get worse.
Buffalo 47, New England 17, the most points ever given up by a Bill Belichick defense. Josh Allen was terrific, 5 TD passes, took off and ran
In that
6
weather,
times
too.
for 66 yards. He looks phenomenal. He looks like one of the. I don't know who's the best quarterback because you watch Mahomes and the things he does when he rolls out and the plays he makes and the throws.
I mean, these guys are rubbing it in. Both of them, they rubbed it into Pittsburgh. They rubbed it into New England.
Oh,
You're
yeah, that's a
throwing
bit of
balls to tackles.
Yeah.
You're rubbing it in.
You're rubbing it. And you know what Andy Reid does? He'll look at maybe a 1950 Michigan-Ohio State game and see a
He's
shuffle
innovative.
pass.
He's very
and,
innovative.
And he'll say, let's try this play. And they practice it, and they do a great job. Hey, Tampa Bay 31 to Eagles 15. That game was over early. What did they go up? 31-0?
Yeah, they played
at one
great.
point. Brady, how about this year? He's the all-time leading passer in yards. This year he led the league in attempts, completions,
Amazing.
yards, I think touchdown passes. Unbelievable. But at the end of the game, I wonder what Arian's thinking. They're 4 minutes left. They're at the 10.
He won't come out it.
Why don't you kick the field goal?
Yeah. Oh,
Make
yeah.
it 34-15.
Yeah.
And why you leave Brady in there? He
Yeah.
got
He
sacked.
said he won't come out. I were talking the other day about this. Theismann
Bless you.
was the original. They said these guys will not come out.
Then he gets sacked at the end, and I'm thinking, why you take a risk of him
Yeah.
getting his knee hurt?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. But they won. They're ready in position again to try to defend their championship. San Francisco 23, Dallas 17. One of the weirdest plays I've ever seen in my life at the end of the game with 14 seconds left. They ran a quarterback draw and then couldn't get the ball set, didn't get it to the umpire to place it, and the clock ran out. Guys, to me, you got 14 seconds left. You got you could get maybe 3 shots into the end zone. When you run a play like that with no timeouts for it, you got to think about every play. You got to try and score.
I hope they practiced it. That's all I can say, because he handed the ball to the center.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as he got done, he should have handed the ball to the umpire, and then they would have got a play
They
off.
said the umpire was behind him. They said he can't run as fast as Prescott.
Maybe that happened, right?
Maybe he should have slid down 3 yards sooner and given himself up.
Yes,
But no, there was only one chance there. But they talked about practicing. That might cost that coach.
But
they say no.
You practice something like that until you get it absolutely
Absolutely.
right. Now, if you have 20 seconds left, you could do that and spike the ball with 5 or 6, 7 seconds left and still have 2 shots into the end zone. And McCarthy said something strange. Well, what do you think? We're going to try to score from the 45-yard line? Yeah. You try to throw it into the end zone. That's like a lot. Games have been won like that.
That was the only underdog of one, right?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
it's a very unusual year this year, no question about it.
Well, remember, you got more garbage in there.
Favorites won.
And you've only given 1 bye instead of 2. You've really changed the format.
And I like the way Frisco plays. Rugged, physical, offensive line play, run the ball, a lot of play action.
Yeah, they're
stuff.
the most physical team in the playoffs. No
Yeah,
question
I
about that.
I love the way they play.
I really was upset with Shanahan. 2 things really stood out to me. Number one, putting a guy in motion on 4th and an inch.
Quarterback sneak.
Just sneak the ball. Why people are going in motion?
and
they get a
it
penalty.
almost cost them the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
And number 2, when Dallas has to go 70 yards, and they let them go 20, 20, 20, and get out of bounds all 3. Why wouldn't you protect the perimeter, tackle them inbounds,
force them inside?
No one, yeah. How come we know
inside.
this?
We
And
know
they're
it.
professional people and don't do it.
And the other thing, you outcoach yourself. You have a half a yard, inches to go. Get up there.
No, that's fine.
Everyone lined up, no movement, no motion.
No movement at all.
Snap the ball,
That's all
get
you
your
do.
first
Who
down.
started now once again, this is I'm smarter than
It
you.
is.
When
George.
you put a guy in motion to run a quarterback,
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Now you,
It's the young,
I'm smarter
these
than
young,
you.
good-looking guys. What is
Yeah,
that? I'm
yeah.
smarter than you.
they
Yes.
all think they're gonna
what
do
that guy
something.
say for the Chargers? Those of us that understand. That's why you're home, Daddy.
First of all, they're not even paying attention to this motion guy.
Not at
And
all.
so
With 4th
when-
and an inch like that, they don't care what he
No, they're
does.
all.
All right, hey, Arizona got slaughtered by the Rams, 34-11. Boy, they did a nosedive at the end of the season. What did they lose? 5 of their last 7 games. Kyler Murray, what was he thinking to flip that ball out of the end zone?
3rd time we've seen that this year.
Yeah, and that just
One
changed
time with
everything.
Stafford, I remember.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, like I always tell, his dad used to say it. These guys, even like say, which he's not a rookie, he's been playing quarterback since 8 years old.
Yes.
He knows that's a wrong play.
Absolutely. And one thing about the Rams, they changed some strategy. They got a running game going. It was a huge boost for them. Took a lot of the pressure off Stafford as they rolled to a 34-11 win.
Yeah, I was most disappointed of all the teams. It was Arizona.
Very much.
Because I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I looked for them to win that
I thought
game.
it could be the game. They were never in the game. Never in the game.
Watt said it was disappointing. He even said, this was a disgrace.
All right, let's go to the coming up playoff games. AFC Bills at
that's
Chiefs.
a good
Chiefs by 2. Who do you like? I'm going to go out and say the Chiefs 37-34.
You know what I've been saying all along.
Close. You like Buffalo?
I said Buffalo's going to win Super Bowl.
If the game were at Buffalo, I'd say Buffalo
too.
37-34.
I get it.
Boy,
But the Chiefs at home are tough.
I just think the Bills are a little better defensively. A little better.
Yeah, although the Chiefs, everyone thought the Steelers were going to run the ball.
No, they
Man, they
didn't,
stuffed the ball on the Steelers.
I just think the Bills.
holding them to
I've said
56
all
yards.
along. Way before the playoffs started.
Yeah.
I've said it 4 weeks ago.
And-
I thought Georgia's win the college. I said I'm picking Buffalo, and I said coming out of the NFC is San Francisco. That's the 2 I've been on, Buffalo and San Francisco.
And you know the
I'll
big
stay on
change
it.
for Buffalo that made the difference? They got Singletary
Yeah, a little
running
better,
the ball.
huh? You're right.
Running the
A
ball.
little
They weren't-
better.
Before they were only running the ball.
No, the quarterback was a runner.
What game
Right.
they ran the ball 8 times?
Yeah, they improved on that. I don't know how it happened, but they did.
Quarterback, you can't be.
I just think someone had to sit down to the coach and say, Coach,
They
look,
block. They start
we
blocking.
we just can't do this. Cincinnati at Tennessee, the Titans by 3.5. I'm calling the Cincy a 27-26 upset win.
I got the Titans.
I got the
all way.
Titans too, so I can't take that one.
You know what? I want to see someone win a Super Bowl that's never won it before, whether it's Cincy or Tennessee
good way to
or
say it. I
or
like
the
that.
Bills. But I am leaning a little more sympathetic to Cincy. They've taken such a beating over the
Hey, they're
years.
good offensively, boy.
Oh my God, the best
Whoa.
group of receivers,
Whoa.
and the tight end doesn't
And don't
get any
forget
credit.
Mixon.
Uzoma, he
Don't
doesn't
forget
get any
Mixon.
right. And let's go to the NFC. San Francisco at Green Bay. The Pack by 5.5. I like Green Bay.
I'm a big 49er guy. You heard me say
Yeah,
that.
I like them too, but Green Bay at home.
Kind of, they do
Cold
exactly
weather.
what you need to do in Green Bay, not depend on passing.
Right.
They run
And
the football.
run the ball, but I like
It's hard to beat
Packers
Green Bay
in
and
this.
Lambeau, you know that. It's
And
hard
the
to beat
Rams
Green Bay.
at Tampa Bay, the Bucks by 3, is it?
Sounds right.
And I like Tampa Bay in a really close game here, winning maybe 29-24, 29-27.
I never go against Brady.
I mean, just,
about
You
the
know,
same
that's
as
a
against-
smart thing.
you know, when you mention a quarterback sneak, Brady brings the team up. There's no motion. He doesn't waste any time.
Think
Gets
about
under
that.
center, take the
Think
snap.
about that. He's the ultimate
He's the best.
quarterback
And he's
right.
of all time,
And he's skinny.
skinny.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like he's.
So it tells you
but,
you don't need to power. You know, now that you can push from behind,
Yes.
that should be automatic when there's less than the yard. The other thing about that game too, you know, I watched last night. You know, I watched real close last night, and you know they couldn't give Aaron Donald more credit. He had one tackle.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they do that all the time. They jump on the
But I
bandwagon.
mean, this guy don't get like last year. Watt was the player of the year. I don't care what they say.
He is. Watt is phenomenal.
Now this year he's going to get it, I think.
They jump
But
on
I
the
watched that
bandwagon.
game last night. I don't listen, but I do watch. But I know how they talk about this guy, so I look up the tackles just for the heck of it. So you know, maybe I'm one tackle.
Now, you bring something up and mention that about Donald, and then I heard Al Michaels say in the Steeler game, all they need is a quarterback. They got a good defense in place.
Oh, my
what
gosh.
good defense?
He's-
What are you watching?
These
But
guys-
their defense
they have no
kills
idea what they're
them.
talking
They
about.
can't stop anybody. They
the
can't
defense
get off the
stinks.
field.
Yeah.
140
I don't
points
understand.
and no, that's not
They
defense
need more
stinks.
than a quarterback.
That's what I said. They need to hit a draft. You're right.
And let me say this before we Cam Hayward. I can't say enough about how hard
Great
he
player.
plays every play. But he's going to be 33 next
He'll
year.
be gone too. Uh-huh.
Alalu
Now
is
Tuitt
coming
comes
back.
back,
He's in
right?
his-
Tuitt.
Tuitt's supposed to come back, and he makes big money.
Yeah.
He makes
They're
11
saying he's
million.
supposed, I just read in the paper today he might not come back, and I said, "Geez,
Really?
oh, man."
Emotional
Now I don't know if that will
problems.
go with the
Well, here,
cap space or not.
well, here's what I'm thinking. You know, he's from Atlanta. Does he go to the Steelers say, "I want to be home near my mom"?
Could be.
My mother.
Would the
take
brother
care of my
died or
mom."
something?
Yes.
He was. The mother watched him get killed by a hit and run driver in Atlanta. And you know, his mother came here from one of the islands and worked 2-3
That's so
jobs
sad.
to put
No,
take care of the family.
yeah,
So
sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, or that he ends up in Atlanta. That could be a.
Well, I know
trade.
one thing. Hayward's he's putting together a Hall of Fame career.
Oh, he's a tremendous player.
He is.
He never quits.
He's the. Well, we're talking about on a show right now.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most underrated Steelers of all time.
I think he's.
You know,
one of
that
the-
people don't talk about him a lot. You know, a
Yeah.
lot. This year he finally made All Pro.
Well,
but, you know,
after Joe Green, he's the best defensive
He's really
tackle
good.
they've ever had.
He's really good.
Hey, NFL TV ratings, huge increase.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
17.1 million average viewers for the 272 regular season games. Huge.
Wow.
We
Sunday
love
night
it.
was a bit.
The best sport.
Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
DraftKings, huh?
Oh,
Yeah. It done hurt 'em.
hey, there's one team in Pittsburgh that's doing quite well, and they're solid. National Hockey League. Malkin returns. He gets 2 goals in a 4-1 win over Anaheim. And then last night, the Pens were down 3-0. The Vegas scored 5 unanswered goals. They're now 23-10-1 and tied for third with Washington. They're one of the hottest teams around. What a great job that Sullivan has done with this team after
Their
poor start.
goaltending is approves
Tremendous
amazing.
stuff.
I just can't believe Jari's the same guy that he was last. I mean, he looks nothing like he did before.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing where I think he's better. The offense is more aggressive. When they're aggressive and attacking, it takes a lot of the pressure off the goalie.
Yeah, so it's a whole team thing. In other words, everything's going because they're playing tremendous hockey.
Hey guys, college football expansion talks, they've stalled again. They're stuck in neutral. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips, he's against it. He wants to stay with 4. The others, like the Big Ten, Pac-12, they want it. You know why? You know what's sitting out there? They're looking at an increase of $450 million
Cash, huh?
if you move it up to 12 teams.
That's
in the playoff.
why it's surprising to me that they all don't want it.
Well,
I don't grasp that.
I said it before, I'm going to say it again. You form your own conference Power 5, or you take each Power 5 conference champion and 3 at-large teams.
easy.
Get your 8
How simple is
They're
that?
talking-
and
but
go play. Go
want-
to 8.
but
12's too much.
They want 4 buys, and then you're 8.
And
what they want.
then they're going to play into February. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's a whole month in between, though, Ed.
I know. Why do you have a 4-week layoff?
No,
For
you
what
can't-
reason?
no.
Hey, Pitt hires Boston College offensive coordinator Frank Signetti as their new OC. He was at Pitt in 09 and 10, I think, under Wannstedt. He's an IUP grad, but vast coaching experience in the NFL and college ranks. I think that's a big hire for Narduzzi.
Yeah, he brought in. He's going to bring a pro attack in with a pro quarterback. You know, I think the matchup's good because he has a guy who's really the guy doesn't move a lot. The guy moves in the pocket, throws it. It's a good match on paper. We're going to find out how it works.
Hey guys, way too early preseason FBS rankings. They're similar through different polls, but it's Alabama, Georgia, some Georgia, Alabama, then Ohio State, Texas A&M, Utah in there at number 5. A little surprisingly, followed by Notre Dame, Michigan, Iowa, Oklahoma, Clemson. And some have Baylor and Wake Forest. Pitt getting some votes. Pitt 25.
If you
and
don't
another
have
poll.
Pitt in your top 20, you're not doing your
That's
homework.
right.
I said it the
They
other
got
day.
18 starters
They got
back.
18 back. They have a great quarterback. The guy
Coming in.
can throw the ball.
And the best receiver in
and the
college
best
football.
back. And you're telling me that I'm saying these guys let their SIDs or whomever fill it out, and they shouldn't.
And they get their defensive front back.
Absolutely.
And the linebackers. They're going to be really, really good. Guys, in the last few minutes here, the Australian Open and all this controversy with Novak Djokovic, deported back to Serbia, not vaccinated, all kinds of confusion about what he said about vaccination. He's the number 1 tennis player, but here's my only question to him. You go to another country, you don't tell them how to run their
Never.
country. I mean, what's the old saying, when in Rome, do as the
Rome.
Romans do. So I'm
You
not
know what?
very,
He's
I'm
almost
not
automatic.
sympathetic.
Hey, you know what, though? He's almost automatic in the Australian.
I know.
Oh, yeah, he would've won it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he would've
of all
won it.
those tournaments,
Yes.
that's the one. And you could turn that around. We don't understand. But obviously, he's willing to give up a tournament that he would probably win
Yeah.
because he won't do it.
He's seeking a 21st record Grand Slam.
And you get 3
singles
years out
title.
for this, they said.
Yeah,
it's a
but-
3-year penalty. He won't be back in
But
the
I'm not sympathetic, and all the people demonstrating for him. I mean, if we travel to another country, you go to England for it, and they say this is what you have to do. You either do it or don't go.
Yeah, on
It's that simple.
on this show, we don't. He doesn't have sympathy from us. Three guys.
Not free. I admire his
I
play.
guarantee
He's a
it.
great player.
No, he's the best
but
player.
I have
He's the
no
best player.
sympathy.
Kyrie doesn't get much
Probably-
either. In
No,
this
he
state.
ain't getting any.
No.
He's not getting any from us either.
Hey, high school football, interesting development in the final seconds here. The Mars School Board has opened up the head football position. So Scott Einar, also the athletic director, he's been head coach for 30 years, 203, 118. He had 16 straight winning seasons of playoff and then a losing season last year, 2-8. He said he wants to reapply for the job, but it doesn't look very good.
Talked to a coach this week and thinks this Mars job is the best job that's opened up in 15 years. How about that? He said it's a runaway freight train where it's heading.
Yeah.
You know,
He got caught with a bad
so
year.
There's going to be some
Yeah.
big names going for this job.
Yeah,
I think.
And he'll be their boss.
And he'll be the athletic director.
that's scary, isn't it?
Nothing surprises you anymore in high school
No.
sports. It's no different than the controversy you find in college or at the pro level
Winner get
anymore.
out. Winner
Hey,
get
that's it for us. We've run out of time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Greetings, everyone. Matthew Kramer, music director of the Butler County Symphony here, inviting you to a musical tour of the Scottish Highlands. We begin our program with Hector Berlioz's Rob Roy Overture, before turning to Max Brooks' Scottish Fantasy, a work that's based off of numerous Scottish folk tunes. Our violinist is Jinju Cho, who has won first prize at so many violin competitions around the world, a marvelous young violinist. On the second half of the program, we have Felix Mendelssohn's Symphony No. 3, The Scotch, which was composed in 1842 but inspired by a trip that he took to the Scottish Highlands in 1829. A marvelous all-Scotch program. We hope you can join us February 5th at 7:30.
Level up your internet. Zoom Extreme from Armstrong gives you unlimited data at our fastest speeds available. That means unlimited gaming, unlimited streaming, and unlimited downloading with no fear of overage charges, delivered on our super reliable fiber optic network. But that's not all. Zoom's enhanced Wi-Fi provides complete coverage throughout your home to the devices that need it most, and it gets better each day. Take advantage of the best value in broadband. Zoom Extreme from Armstrong. The future is faster. The future is now.